For tea, some sausages, chips, hamburger and gravy.
But the actual royal menu for the 75 people dining in the officers' mess with the Queen is not surprisingly quite different. Chilled melon with prawns, followed by stuffed breast of chicken with a wine, cream and hazelnut sauce, meringue with poached cherries, cream and cherry brandy to finish. WO2 Martin Cliff is in charge of the royal meal, at present halfway through a 6-hour stint peeling the prawns. Who chooses what he's going to cook?
What we do is submit 3 menus to the palace. This came from a Southern Catering meeting in Hereford. We came up with 3 suggested menus, send them to the palace, and the dietitian or whoever studies them, looks at them and selects what she's eating, because obviously with going to other functions the day before, we don't know what she's eating, and it comes back what we told to do.
And what potential disasters do you foresee between now and tomorrow lunchtime?
Electricity failure. If the electricity goes out, we could have problems. We hope it's not power failure. Other than that, the advanced prep's going quite well. Can't see anything at the moment.
With the help of some written instructions in the kitchen, 24 members of the regiment have just done a week's crash course in silver service for the meal. Trooper Stuart Boyd, tank driver turned waiter, is pretty confident about his serving debut.
Both hands on the tank and both hands on a spoon and fork. Or that and that, you know, dead easy.
What about the day itself? Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, very much, yeah. I suppose we all are, because it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. You never get as close to the Queen as what we will, you know. And there's not many people are going to get close to her, you know. And it's something you can look back on, say I was next to the Queen.
Elsewhere in the mess, preparations are in full swing. Flowers laid out everywhere, and the Queen's restroom getting its final dusting. Meanwhile, the walkabout area is being roped off. 600 yards is needed, all of which has to be covered in white tape, a long and laborious task. There's still a bit of painting to be done as well, and even the underlay for the royal carpet is rolled out in readiness. And this is one of the 4 huge marquees already laid out for lunch tomorrow. And as today draws to a close, it's the moment of truth for the planners who've spent so long organising the visit and all those who've worked so hard towards it. Now it's time for keeping fingers crossed, hoping that there are no last-minute hitches anywhere and that the weather holds out for the big day tomorrow. Well, when dawn broke on Friday, everyone was relieved to see that the sun was ready to shine. And on the windmill strip in Senelager, 148 tanks with their engines running, and a large crowd of past and present members of the Royal Tank Regiment from all over the world awaited the arrival of the Queen. At exactly 11 o'clock, a 21-gun salute welcomes Her Majesty, Colonel-in-Chief of the regiment. It was 25 years ago at Buckingham Palace that the Queen last presented standards to the regiment, and today she's come to Germany to replace them with new ones, a once-in-a-lifetime experience for most of the soldiers present. The tanks rumble forward in line, billowing the regimental colours in smoke behind them, the crews dismounting to await inspection. The Queen, in an open-topped Range Rover, then drives between the officers and the men to review the parade. The new standards for the 4 regiment are unfurled and draped across the old regimental drums, where the army chaplains bless them before the Queen walks along and touches each in turn. In her speech, she looks back on the history of the tank and the life of service families today.
When the tank was introduced in 1916, it was probably the most significant British military invention of the First World War. It combined firepower, movement and protection, and has remained a formidable weapon. Life for soldiers' families is never easy, with constant moves and considerable separation. But their support and understanding are a great comfort, and their contribution to the life of the regiment is well recognized and much appreciated.
And so came the most spectacular part of the ceremony, the drive past by the 148 tanks, over 1/3 the total tank force of the Rhine Army, each bowing its gun as it passes the Queen. And to round off the parade, a march past by a group of old comrades, followed by the forerunners to the Challengers and Chieftains we'd just seen, a 1916 Mark V tank. After lunch at the officers' mess at Barker Barracks, the Queen had a chance to see the old tank at close quarters, alongside some of the men who used to crew her, and 3 ex-members of the regiment, now Chelsea pensioners, all anxious to chat about the old days.
Then in the desert, then in Greece, and of course I got chopped all of the knees in Greece.
From the oldest to the newest tank, the 60-ton Challenger from 2 RTR, in a hide position with the camouflage crew ready for action. And then to what the crowds had been waiting all day for, the traditional royal walkabout. And a big moment for Katie and Jamie, all dressed up in their Sunday best. But as with all 4-year-olds, no matter what you tell them, they will go their own way. And it's hard to remember all that bowing and curtsying business come the time. The Queen, looking cheerful and relaxed in the sunshine, stopped to chat, often for some time, to the excited crowd around her. There was the occasional over-enthusiastic youngster, though, who broke through the cordon to get that extra special look. The Queen was introduced to 15 members of each of the 4 regiments, here chatting to the families of 4 RTR from Osnabrück, who recruit mainly from Scotland. Then, with just one final chance for that memorable photograph, the Queen leaves the main gates of Barker Barracks, heading for Gütersloh and home. Well, there you are, a day that will stay in most people's memories for the rest of their lives. And just for once, the German summer was actually very kind to us. A great day it was.